Now, the last report I had from the bank was on Tuesday. They were closing in on collecting some more major stockpiles of American precious metals that had gone missing. Late this afternoon, we have a warning from U.S. Secretary of the Treasury, Scott Bessent, warning Americans to keep their money. And I will be posting that directly after this meeting. He's trying to warn people to keep a store of cash instead of just depending on bank functions. 57 banks went down this afternoon. So 57 banks ranging from small to very large have disappeared from our map, taking their depositors' money with them. And so this is a major thing that we're witnessing that is part of the transition that has to take place. And so even the Secretary of the Treasury is warning people to get some cash set aside so that you're not left without anything to trade on during the transition, which hopefully won't last very long at all, but could last 3 weeks to a month. So if you have access to cash, save some out and keep it in your desk drawer for a while. I'll be putting out those particular bits of information for you in the form of a kind of a brief explanatory article with some for you to follow up on. But yes, we're beginning to see the banking collapse, which just means that you're getting closer and closer to the opening up of the alternative systems. And so it's not going to hurt us overall, but it's certainly going to hurt a lot of other people that didn't get the memo and didn't prepare and don't have additional resources lined up, quote unquote, on the other side of the ledger. And I expect that this is going to occasion lots more people wanting to join our state assemblies. And we're all going to have to kind of tuck and run because, of course, all those new people have to be educated. They have to have orientation as they arrive at our doorstep and want to come in. All right, so I've been trying all these years to try to warn people, the day's gonna come, folks, when it's not gonna be just you and me and David and Jeff over there in the corner. No, all of a sudden the tin hats are going to be rushed en masse by millions of normies who have no background, who don't have any idea how this is supposed to work, and until their banks closed down, had no reason to take an interest. So it's sort of like preparing for a flood. Get those sandbags, get those new member orientation packets ready to go. Get your outreach committees bulked up and ready to talk to people, ready to shake hands, ready to answer questions, because as this continues to unravel and unfold, you're going to see a lot more people coming to your doors and, being driven there by sheer economic need, if nothing else. And it's going to be our job and our duty to teach Americans how to be Americans again. So I didn't mean to scare you right off the bat, but you can't say I haven't warned you. This is about the 100th time I've said this, and I'm not sure if I'm getting through to everyone or not, but yeah, you're going to have lots of new people to deal with. Okie dokie. And as far as the bank goes, we have been engaged in nailing down another major clump of precious metals that we located another recoupment action. It's pretty intense out there. The things that are going on in the Persian Gulf have made it very difficult for us to connect with and get bank transactions and banking information out of that whole sector of the world. So a lot of the banking functions in Dubai, for example, have been shut down. They've suffered everything from airport closures to fires to floods. I mean, these guys have been getting missiles raining down on them, and it's been very intense. So some of the banking hubs that are located in the Mideast have been functioning on a sporadic basis or not at all for the last couple of weeks. And that has slowed down some of the things that are taking place now. So be aware of that too. We're doing our best, and we did manage to extract a lot of records and things that were housed in Dubai prior to this action by President Trump. And so we're not in as bad a shape as you might suppose, but it does have an effect on world finance and on getting information and on making transfers of both actual physical assets and fiat assets and credits. So be aware of that. It's not anything that's going to stop us. It's not anything that's going to unduly affect our system. It's having a bigger effect on Europe and on China. Anytime you have this kind of a war going on anywhere, it hurts the whole world, and it increases our gas prices and oil prices. As you can see, in some places it's quite astronomical. So anyway, that's kind of my report on the world for today. You want to get straight into some question answering?
That's fine. I was just going to ask you if you got any other news, and if you don't, then we can hop right into the questions. You ready to take some questions now?
I'm ready.
Okay, the first one up is Mary Brock. Mary, go ahead.
There we go. I couldn't get unmuted. Thank you, David. And hi, Anna. How you doing?
I'm doing great.
You look
I'm not
great.
Oh, well, I don't know how I look. I've been getting all sorts of compliments lately. I don't know how that's possible. I'm still on my terrible schedule.
Yeah, I hear you. You're a busy lady. So I'll try and keep these as quick as I can. Our Journal Assembly, Chris in particular, has a bunch of questions specifically about patents and where, who has to have a land patent to be a juror and all that stuff. So I'll try and go through them pretty quickly. His first question is, should the Journal Assembly be requiring a written agreement or affirmation in order and or required for all officers and jurors?
No, when you come into the assembly and you're a member of the assembly, you've completed your process. You don't have to do anything more. The only area where that tags in is where you become a member of the International Business Assembly, and then you've got the very simple business of stating that you have no foreign government affiliations or loyalties, and that's it. So, typically a jury is sort of sworn in the process after the jury selection takes place.
Verbally, right?
Yes. Yes.
That was the next question.
Okay, good. We're knocking them down.
Does anyone need to have a land patent done in order to have, quote, the inherent and inheritor right of Minnesota by terra firma, or to serve as a juror and or elector and or to take on the status of a state citizen?
No, that is a misunderstanding, and it's coming from an old edition of the Juror Handbook. This is back where we had that initial misunderstanding caused by people calling states of states states. And so what we were picking up on were the requirements of the state of state organizations, the Confederation states, back in the day. And they had a much different way of actually selecting jurors and seating jurors and everything else. We did not have those requirements. And so that's what that is. You don't have to be a landowner. You don't have to be a white male. And this is what the Confederation required, not the Federation. So we just got confused because the historical documents we were working with were calling the Confederate states, and we were getting them mixed up with the states of the Union.
Right. Right. That's what I thought. That's what I said, but it was not believed out of my lips. So here we are.
We did get hold of Paul Stramer and tell him that he had an old copy of the Jural Handbook, and so hopefully that's now been switched out.
That would be good. That would be good. It also needs to be removed out of, it's linked in the how to build an assembly handbook on the section that is about the Jural Assembly. It's
Okay.
linked to in there and it needs to be unlinked. There's a bunch of other things that need to be fixed in there too that I've found, but definitely need to get that old Jural Assembly handbook unlinked out of there because otherwise we're going to keep rehashing this over and over again. I
Okay.
personally will be saving this specific video for posterity. I will download it and keep it in my files for the Minnesota Assembly. So
Thank you, Mari.
you're welcome. All right, this is another one that he asked because he's concerned about this plenary concurrent general jurisdiction that was mentioned about a year ago on one of Lisa's podcasts with you. Does anyone need to have a land patent done to be a juror with plenary concurrent general jurisdiction? No, correct?
No,
That's what I thought.
this
Okay.
this applies to our government, Federation, and the land and soil government has concurrent general jurisdiction.
He's really stuck on this plenary part, and all plenary means is that you have multiple jurisdiction, right? Different plenary is
Within-
just multiple.
Within your particular jurisdiction, you have total control of your affairs and your people, is all that implies. So if you're not an American and you're under British rule and you're a British subject, you're playing with a different set of rules than if you're an American in America and you're right. Okay, so that's all that really is saying is that Americans have control of American stuff. And if the Brits want to live here and have their system running in tandem with ours, it can apply to their people, but not to us.
Right. Okay. Are talesmen and ASNs allowed to hear cases in international land and sea? That'd be a no, correct?
Pardon me, talesmen and ASNs?
And ASNs, are they allowed to hear cases in international land and sea jurisdictions?
Yes, they are.
Oh,
Um,
I was wrong.
but I mean, remember the use of talesmen was in county courts. So
So they wouldn't necessarily be serving on a state court as talesmen, right?
right.
Okay, makes sense to me. Okay. How about cases in the air jurisdiction? Can an ASN hear cases in the air jurisdiction? And that's international, so that'd be yes, correct?
It's actually global, but they do call it international. I think they're just trying to collapse different jurisdictions and run them all under one heading, basically.
Okay.
That's not going so well for them. But anyway, yeah, we have all three, air, land, and sea can be considered international, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's just that the air jurisdiction has common links to both air and sea.
Right. Touches both.
So, you know, and so we call it international, but in effect, air is a global jurisdiction.
Okay. And ASNs can hear those cases as well.
Right. ASNs can hold those cases. It depends upon the subject matter.
Okay.
I mean, we have these two groups, the ASNs and the ASCs, and the ASCs are the ones that need to be addressing questions that involve their state and international contracts and obligations.
Which would typically be the American state citizens on the International Business Assembly then, right?
Right, yeah, they can form their own jural group, their own jury pool, if you will. And when cases come up that involve their state in relation to the rest of the world, then they have their duty to do as the jurors acting for the state with regard to that subject matter.
Okay, and of course, always taking into consideration conflicts of interest and stuff like that, right?
Oh,
Okay.
yeah.
Let's see, the Tasmans. So we already answered that question. Then the last thing was he asked for, he says you have to qualify potential jurors, not just everyone can walk in off the street and function as a juror. A juror is a temporary state citizen for the duration of their jury duty and as such must qualify as an elector of that state as well as a state national under our established system of government. Is that true? That they have to qualify to be an elector too?
A juror by definition is supposed to be an elector.
Okay.
Okay, but not an ASC. You see, as an ASN, you can vote on all sorts of things that have to do with your state. You don't have to be an ASC to be a juror and to vote on all sorts of issues affecting your state. It's only those issues that affect your state and other states or other countries that fall under the heading of an ASC jury or an ASC deliberation or vote.
Okay, like in case of something between Minnesota and Canada, that would be,
Right.
or Minnesota and Wisconsin would be
Exactly.
in that case. Okay, good. So I'll just go through what he has. By calling the states to assemble the United States of America, the unincorporated and sovereign government in charge of our shared international jurisdiction is requiring a roll call to establish a quorum to do business. Your participation in assembling your state is ground zero, and this is the 11th hour. I don't know why this is even in here, but oh, because this is all a part of this qualifying to be an elector. We don't need huge numbers of people, though we would like that, who are qualified to speak for their states of the union. He took this all out of the General Assembly Handbook.
Right.
A minimal quorum of 30 to 35 qualified electors are desired, but in a pinch, even one qualified elector can invoke the power of the entire state under the last man standing rule. And that's still true, right?
Right.
To be a qualified elector of your state of the union and of the United States of America, bear in mind, these rules have not changed since 1860 and can't be changed until we convene a Continental Congress to change them. You need to, and I think you already said this, one, be able to prove that you had ancestors who were here and either born on the land of a state or fully naturalized state citizens prior to 1860.
That was another part of that we had wrong. You don't have to be able to go back to 1860 for our purposes. That would be a probable requirement for reconstructing the Confederation. You see, there was this big confusion, as I said, between the state of state and the state of the union and the union state. And they were all calling themselves states. And so we had the bare bones historical records and things that we're sorting through, trying to figure out what the requirements were for each one of these three kinds of states. And it was very confusing at first, but we were able to determine that the Federation has a much more egalitarian approach to everything than the state of state organizations ever had.
Right.
So please make sure you've got an updated new edition copy of the General Assembly Handbook, and it'll make a lot more sense, because frankly, we were reading this stuff and going, that doesn't make sense, given these other things. Another point to kind of bring up is that when we become, like you have this group organization where the states are members, whether it's the union state or the state of the union or it's the state of state. These are membership organizations where the members are some level, some jurisdiction of state authority, right? Okay, so the odd thing is that none of them are sovereign in and of themselves, even though they are there representing multiple sovereign entities. Okay, so the Federation is not sovereign. The members of the Federation are sovereign. The Union State is not sovereign. It's the members of the Union State that are sovereign. And so it goes, it's kind of an odd thing, but the proper way to talk about the Federation or the Confederation or even the Union is as an instrumentality of the free, sovereign, and independent states.
Right.
So we're instrumentalities.
Right. Okay. And so then the rest of that goes along with it. He's got 6 points: that you are a landowner. No. That you claim your birthright political status. Well, yes, of course, that's
Right.
no brainer. That you're at least 21 years of age. Yes, we have to be the age of majority. That you are a free man, not indentured or enslaved, which was generally assumed for Caucasians. Of course, we know that is no longer. We took care of that in a vote. And our male is the 6th one. Our research indicates that contrary to what was believed initially, race was not the controlling issue prior to 1860 with regard to elector status. So of course that's all been
Right.
realigned.
Right. That was all part of the Confederation versus Federation confusion that started out early on.
Okay. All right. I think we have all of our questions that he had answered. I thank you so very, very much for making this crystal clear. Appreciate it. And the new General Assembly Handbook, is that just within the How to Build an Assembly Handbook, or is there actually a copy of the revised General Assembly Handbook that's out there somewhere?
There should be one out there somewhere because we went back and we corrected it on the spot, on the fly.
Okay. I'll have to talk to Terry probably and find out where she has that.
Terry probably has it squirreled away. Other people here in the Federation have it squirreled away. I probably have a copy of it on my computer somewhere. Yeah.
Search.
Yeah, and then, then it's a matter of searching the dates. The revised one does say revised.
Okay.
So
I wonder if when you talk to Paul, could you provide that to him to upload that so that?
I think he has it. If he doesn't, he'll be getting in contact with me and asking for it, and then I'll have to go. I'll have to go make the effort to scrounge through and find the updated version.
Okay. All right. Awesome. Thank you very much.
Take care, Mari.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay, I got Mike McGowan up next. Mike, I think you fell off once, but I got you online or got you in the listing there. So if you're ready, Mike, go ahead and unmute.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm having a storm here. It's horrible. But anyway, thank you for the opportunity. Anna, we talked some months ago. You said the indemnity bond is out there. And I haven't been able to find it in your documents. It's hard to search those 6,000 and find the right one that tells where it is on the de facto side. And I tried to do a Freedom of Information Act, but they don't know where to look for it. Is there a place or somebody that would have it that we could show something and kind of create an anchor point on the land?
I'm sorry, you're going to have to repeat that question for me. I'm having some, your voice is coming in and out.
Yeah, we've got bad cell service. I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm doing the research to try to create our anchor point on the land so that we can do commerce with everyone. And I did a Freedom of Information Act with the Treasury, USA Treasury, Inc., to try to get, acknowledgement that they have those indemnity bonds, and they're at a loss. They don't know where anything like that would be. Is there a contact or somebody that I could, get a letter from them to acknowledge that?
It's right there on their government website. You can go to us.whatever.gov and look it up. It shows it as being lodged and active in the U.S. Treasury, U.S.Treasury. The
Well,
problem is we've got a
oh,
lot of young people, new people, you know, and it happens every time somebody retires or somebody goes to work for somebody else and the knowledge gets lost and then you wind up going through this again. But no, you can actually go to the website and bring it up. I've done it myself.
yeah, that's
So,
what I'm saying. I've had others look for it. I can't find it, and they can't find it. Is there an article or something where I know you said before you've talked about where to find it, but I can't find it. And I'm just wondering if there's somewhere to point better that we can get a hold of it and publish it so it becomes a permanent fixture.
well, I believe Terry has it on TASA, has the actual, you know, a copy of the actual bond posted on TASA.
Right. Well, what I'm trying to do is anchor it from their side. I mean, you have it, but it does, so many things are getting old. I've gone and tried where gave jurisdiction to the international court, and I tried to go with the USPS and look up the registered mail, and they don't keep that data. So it's like, okay, we can't provide validation for anything. And I'm just trying to create some pieces that are, hard and fast that can prove it. I mean, anybody can create a document and Xerox it or do whatever and make it up. But it's another thing if you can start validating the things that they have, and that's what I wanted to, create some anchor points. But I just, can't find any way to do that.
Well, I can guarantee you that last September I looked up the indemnity bond myself on the U.S.U.S.gov website for the Treasury. So I know it's there. And I took copies of it. I took the screenshots of it. So I
What
suggest
would
that
what
It's
would you look
posted in
under?
the chat right now. The indemnity bond is posted in the chat right now.
Right.
okay.
I've got the indemnity bond off of Anna's site or Paul's site that does for Anna. I know that side of it, but we want to validate it that they have acknowledgement of it, that it's filed with them, right?
And I'm telling you, Mike, that it's on
Yeah.
their website.
Okay. I'll look for it again.
And if you can't find it, send me an email and I'll spend my valuable time scrounging it up from when I looked for it last time.
Okay, I'll look again. I yield. Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Okay, thank you, Mike. Next up is David Herrick.
Hey, David.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, David. No, I just got all the answers to my questions a few minutes ago, so I'm good. I yield.
All
I don't
righty.
know if I did that or somebody in the chat did it, but okay, way to go, David.
John Russell.
Good evening, Anna. How are you tonight?
I'm good.
I got some great news for you from South Carolina. Again, we have 5 new ASNs this month, and we have 8 potential new customers coming in already this month. Things are starting to look up for us.
I love it. I love it. After such a long and hard travail to get everything going and started, you guys have really shown some incredible strides.
I had a question on rural assembly.
Mm-hmm.
We had a meeting Tuesday night, and we came up on the ombudsman which will be talking to the couple before they go into court. Now, is that our ombudsman that we have for the assembly going to do that, or is it going to be different type of ombudsmans for the rural assembly? They couldn't figure that out.
Yeah, it's entirely proper to have an ombudsman attached to each pillar. So you'd have an ombudsman for militia. You'd have an ombudsman for the rural assembly. We just haven't had enough people to go around, frankly.
Tell me about it.
So, but ultimately, all of these different pillars will have their own secretaries and their own record keepers that'll have their own record systems, and you'll have your own ombudsman, and you'll be able to kind of specialize in terms of what questions come to which ombudsman.
That's what
Okay.
I needed to find out. All
Yep.
righty. I think that covers, and that book should be showing up at your doorstep anytime soon.
Okay. I'll be
I
looking
mailed it
for
out to you, so enjoy. And it's only for the bubble bath is when you can read it.
it. Okay, well, I'll try.
Yeah, thank you and good night.
Good night, John.
All right, John, thank you. Next up, we got Jamie, and then Anita, and then Gerda, and then Carmen. So, Jamie, you're up.
Okay. Hi, Anna.
Hi, Jamie.
And this is for everyone. I'll get right to the point. I have been reading about lately this plot by the powers that be, powers that were, about tokenizing everything, making digital assets out of everything, fractionalizing everything. Something that's very serious. I read a couple of posts about it on X.com earlier today, and I'm saying this to bring the awareness to everyone, because you had stated once, Anna, in order to know how to fight our enemies or what to do, we have to know what they're up to, what they're doing. We do have to be aware of the rat watch, and this is very concerning, and
Well,
it's
it is.
totally. So I want to raise the issue to everyone on here, and what can we do to stop this, because they obviously have no authority and no right to digitize everything from rental properties to artwork and something in fractional ownership and everything, and it's absolutely insane.
Crazy.
And it's just evil, just pure evil.
Right. These people have no sense. They've gone completely over the, they really don't have any mental capacity to understand the concept of property and property assets being owned by people. And this is something that is running in their system, not our system, their system, because they have run out of assets. They have borrowed themselves into a corner using purloined assets. And now they're trying to do things like securitize grades of grass. I mean, they're crazy. They can't figure out the way out of their own dilemma. And so this push to tokenize everything, well, they've already tokenized everything, because what they presented to the world as a currency is in effect a coupon, a voucher, a token. It is not actually any form of money. Okay, it's what they've done is they've already tokenized everything, and now they're trying to say that this is some new thing. Well, by changing the name, you don't change the thing. I have to point out that a rose by any other name would smell as sweet, right? Or in this case, a tokenized form of currency is a token. Hello.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. The whole thing is ridiculous. They're trying to figure a new way out of their dilemma, and they're refusing to take what actually has to happen seriously and doing it. So I guess some people just have to try something and be rebuffed before they can accept the fact that their grand idea isn't going to work.
Well, if anybody has any ideas or feedback on how to fight this or what to do, I think we should look into it.
Yeah, it's not our Billywick. It's not us that's doing that. So, yeah, they will have to suffer the consequences of what they do, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's our job to make sure that they're the ones who suffer it, and not us.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Anna. I
Take
yield.
care.
Thank you, Jamie.
Truth Social.
So got a hot mic there, somebody? Okay, next up we got Anna. We got Anita.
Hi, Anna.
Hey,
They made an announcement the other day that you were going to have to prove that you were a U.S. citizen in order to have a bank account.
well, that's fair. We don't want to be in their banking system anyway, right?
Yeah, but right now, like I'm on Social Security, my check goes through that bank. So,
Well, a lot of those banks are disappearing as we speak. 57 of them disappeared today. And once this gets rolling, you can expect more and more and more of them to simply disappear. So let me suggest that we're not U.S.citizens, and we don't have to be. We were given those persons as a gift, and then we were presumed upon, is what happened. And as long as you are born in this country, you can use those persons however you need to or want to. And you can explain that you are using this person under duress. And, you know, we're going to have some very serious consequential discussions with Treasury in the near future regarding the use of our assets and the use of our persons, both, because they have been falling down on their contractual obligations to us. And a great deal of ignorance has devolved around the whole idea of citizenship and what it means and what it obligates people to. Now, we do have a we do have a means of going forward and reiterating our stance to the U.S. Secretary of State, because this is a diplomatic matter. And so I think maybe we'll all have to just get on our high horse and you know, make it absolutely clear and unequivocal that no, we're not choosing to be citizens.
Okay. And earlier you were talking about the coordinators could stand up whether they were in the assembly or not. What about, to clarify, an ASN that's a dual citizen?
As long as they're an ASN, they can qualify to work as a coordinator or a marshal at arms if they can pass the vetting.
Okay, I got a new ASN that's chomping at the bit, so that'll make her happy. And can a incorporated county become can they get out of the incorporated position as a county?
Sure. Absolutely. They can release their status as an incorporated entity and open up a unincorporated county and skate right along.
Okay, because we're fighting a data center right now, and so I was thinking about suggesting that to everybody. So.
Well, the unincorporated county that exists can object just as it is. You don't have to wait for the county of the incorporated version to get organized. You can object to it just as it stands.
Yeah, we got it delayed last year, but they're going to bring it back to the table in June or July. So we got to be ready for them again. So, okay. And just a little story. One of the ASN said that she had the opposite side of your grandfather's money box. She said her grandfather had a money box full of worldly coins. And he told her the same thing your grandfather did. So she connected with that little story. So
yeah,
she just wanted me to pass it along to you. So you'll have a wonderful night, Anna. Thank you.
Good night.
Thank you, Anita. Gerda, you're next up.
Yes, hi Anna, hi everybody. My question, I am from British Columbia, Canada, and my question is this: our provinces are now working individually to stand their assemblies, and likely some provinces will be ready before others in terms of moving forward. And we're wondering if their recognition by the Federation and access to training programs will be available.
Absolutely. We can do that. The thing is that a lot of aspects of transition are happening right now, like the move for Alberta to become a state of state. Well, once Alberta becomes a state of state, that opens up the possibility of becoming a true state of the union. And so, you know, we have to open up our I guess you have to say our outreach so that people in Alberta understand the same conditions that we have here in the States. So yes.
Okay, splendid. And does their training at all depend on them requesting to be American states? What about if there are some states that decide they would like to be separate nation states or countries? How would that work?
Well, you know, if you're going to be an independent country, a nation state, then you have all of the responsibilities and duties of a nation state, and you simply meet all those requirements, which is spelled out pretty much in international law. And once you meet those requirements, then you are going to have to secure recognition from other countries, which isn't that hard to do. And then you can stand as a separate country. You do, however, want to look at the traditional and cultural and economic ties that you have, because, for example, if BC were to say, well, we don't want to be part of anything, we just want to be our own little country here sitting on the western shore of Canada. Well, it so happens that you have the seacoast and other states within Canada might take very ill to you stealing the entire seacoast and locking it up for yourselves. And there may be treaties and there may be agreements in place between the provinces already that you're unaware of that block that. So it would be quite a research project to even consider.
Right. Okay. Well, that's very helpful. I think I understand. Thank you so much.
Sure enough.
Thank you, Gerda.
Well, I just want everybody to know that we're now entering that period of time where a lot of the science and technologies that have been suppressed and misused and abused and you know, have been developed and even deployed without our knowledge, a lot of that is coming forward now. And we have some rather threatening aspects of certain projects that were started back in the 60s coming forward to today. And most of it's very beneficial. I mean, most of it's just science and action and application, right? It's not that bad. But there are a few things that they have weaponized that should never have been weaponized. And those things are dangerous. They're very dangerous. And to the extent that we can become more aware of them, and we can kind of guard our psyches and not be amazed by some of this stuff. I mean, for example, we've had free energy all along. Levitation is not difficult. There are all sorts of things that are very surprising that if you encounter them and you don't realize that these technologies exist, it can be very disruptive to your sensibilities and to your ability to respond appropriately. And so we're going to have to bring forward some of these technologies that we know are weaponized and that we know can be abused in various very profound ways, so that people are aware of them. And when and if they encounter the phenomenon, they're not left going, you know, what just happened, you know? So we're going to have to deal with several of these different technologies that we know have been weaponized so that people are not caught unaware. And, you know, it's taken a long while to get to a point where we were iron jacketed enough so that we could go ahead and talk about these things despite the claims of national security interest and that sort of thing that have been used to basically keep people from knowing about and keep people from developing entire areas of physics, for example. So anyway, do expect us to bring forward new technologies. Do expect us to explain things that are happening on a sort of a larger scale than you might be thinking of. I mean, we concentrate on rebuilding our and restoring our American government for and of the people, right? The living people. There are lots and lots of layers within all of these jurisdictions. And one of the most complicated and most powerful is the air jurisdiction, which of course involves our ideas, our beliefs, our religious backbone of of what we think about the divine. And all of this has undergone a lot of almost explosive growth over the past 20 years, that we've discovered things about God that we never knew. And we've discovered things about dynamics and what we call the new science of energetics that we need to be more aware of, because there will be things that happen in this world now that will seem, well, magical. But it's not magic, it's physics. It will seem abrupt, unexplainable. One day it's this way and the next day it's that way, and you can't say why. It just happened. Well, there are explanations for it, but it's stuff that's been deeply occulted, so that you don't necessarily have any warning that such things exist, much less how they can appear in your world, much less how they can be abused to give false impressions or to create problems. And so I'm just kind of bringing your consciousness of some of these things forward, so that you aren't overly surprised or taken by surprise if and when some of these phenomenon are released to the public. MedBeds is just the tip of the iceberg.
I think we're getting into some of the stuff on that's going to be affecting the patent office. What's going on with the status of the patent office at this point? We're just talking about the banks being shut down, and we got a bunch of different things that are happening in different branches. If they start releasing information that's been previously held back as national security, and now it's going to be accessible, it sounds like you're touching on that. Is that the direction you're referencing?
Yes. A lot of this, over 6,500 patents, and there are patents there that are blatantly illegal, just in the open, right? But there are over 6,500 patents for different technologies and processes and discoveries that have been suppressed, and some of those have been weaponized. And I'm most focused on those that have been weaponized, because if you discover something and you develop a product and it's then offered to the public, well, at least that's a public disclosure, right? But some of these things have been buried so deep and have been even ridiculed, like free energy. Well, we've had free energy forever. And, we have to discuss these things. We have to get a handle on them. So some of the 6,500 patents that have been buried will now come to light, and those that will come first will be in the form of those that you have to worry about the most. And that is also dictated somewhat by how much development has gone into these weaponized technologies by the organizations like DARPA and DIA and various Pentagon groups that make them more likely to be unleashed than others. So the patent office is probably going to get completely closed down and scrapped before this is done. A lot of organizations and people will have to come forward and prove that their particular patent is not harmful, because a great many of the patents that have been issued have allowed people to make profit on criminal ideas. So expect there to be havoc in the patent office as well as everywhere else.
What is going to replace the existing patent office? What's the vision for that going to look like? How's that going to work out?
Well, I think that this is one of those areas where we can gainfully employ AI to do the search functions, which take up a great deal of time and effort and money in the present process. We'll kind of update and use AI to do the patent search functions. And then we'll probably have a whole new generation and kind of patent office clerk position to route it through the rest of the processes to actually issue a patent. So it'll be a joint computer versus human effort, but it will be simpler and it will be more exact, and we will consciously be organizing it so that if something has a criminal purpose, and it's obviously a criminal purpose, it can't be patented.
It's interesting you would bring up the AI. I've been doing a little bit of patent research myself, and I'm surprised at things that I see that I come across and I do the research on, and I find that there are no patents that are filed for that purpose. And one of the things that I came across, looking at patent people in the U.S. Patent Office, that they have a patent go across their desk and they approve it on Tuesday. And on Wednesday, they have a patent that comes across their desk and they approve it on Wednesday, and it contradicts what was done on Tuesday. And that type of error somehow is going on within departments at the patent office, that if an AI is involved in that, presumably that wouldn't happen.
Well, and there's a lot of patent search capability that we have that we don't use because entire sections of the patent office are closed. I mean, it's been mismanaged to a point of being ridiculous as it stands. So we just need a vast reorganization of the patent office and the patent office functions all throughout.
Okay. Well, I'm interested in that. I've been holding off on filing a whole bunch of different patents because of where we are, what we're going through, and yet I'm feeling this pressure that somebody who's got patents that need to be filed would naturally feel. I've been wanting to get them in there, but I don't want to put them into a system that is going to suck them up and kill them. Or do something with them or ignore them. And these are health and safety patents that need to be patented, need to be protected, need to be built out. So I'm looking forward to seeing some rapid changes in the patent office.
Yeah, well, it's on the list, there's no doubt. And there's another AI assisted program going through at the National Archives, but yeah, trying to get the banking and the money situation cleaned up has taken precedent, but yes, the patent office is near the top of the list of things that needs to be addressed.
Can I go ahead and file those patents in our state recorder office, in our assembly recorder's office in the meantime?
You could. And you could use a basic private copyright on the material.
Is there anything special that our recorders would need to do differently?
No, you're establishing a claim on an idea or a process or a gadget or whatever. And so that's a direct material asset claim.
It's time sensitive. That's why something needs to be done before somebody else does it.
Right, and you can do that. You can record a patent interest, and you can just record it under a sovereign letters patent.
Okay. All right. All right. If I have any questions on that, I'll get a hold of you, because this is something that I think needs to be taken care of very quickly. So. That's it. I'll reach out to you, Anna. We do have I think Carmen is back, and then we have another hand that came up also. So let me see who that is. Carmen, I see you're unmuted. Go ahead, and I yield. Thank you, Anna.
Thank you, everyone. Hello, Anna, and thank you for taking my question. My question is related to the credential cards, the new credential cards. And I wanted to ask what agencies are recognizing that credential card in order to identify us as state nationals and also do not stop, do not detain.
Well, the, the answer is that the response is it depends. It depends on what unit or what organization you find in which state. Some of the organizations just, boom, there you go, you're on your way. Others will try to argue with you about it. And this is part of what we have to wrangle through with the U.S. Secretary of State. But it's just depends on how aware of the people are in your particular vicinity are. We have a lot of airports where TSA knows who we are and they just rubber stamp us on through. We have other organizations, other units of the same entity, TSA in another city, may stop us and grill us for an hour. So
Okay.
I think it's just sort of a luck of the draw, and we need to continue to press forward on getting the U.S. Secretary of State fully informed and get him to do his duty to inform all of the agencies and different organizations that are affiliated with his office.
Does your state need to be standing in order to be able to press the Secretary of State?
No,
They just need to be in session?
they need to be in session, and there may be one more piece that we may all have to do and send to the Secretary of State to consolidate and kind of provide the final framework for the entire claim process. But that's something that's under consideration right now.
Would we do the same for the Secretary of State in our own State of the Union state or state of?
Well, in theory, the U.S. Secretary of State and his apparatus there, his sub-departments and divisions, are supposed to have the ability to notify all the other agencies and departments. So if that is true, then they need to be prodded to do it.
All right. Okay. There's a man on Florida who experienced a very unfortunate situation where he was stopped because of a seatbelt situation, and he provided the Leo with his credential card, and he just went ballistic once he saw that credential card. So I don't know if using the credential card is more harmful to us because they're not recognizing us, and you know, everyone knows that American state nationals have been put in the FBI's list as domestic terrorists. So, you know, I'm trying to figure out if
Again, I'm
it's
trying to tell you repeatedly that this is a diplomatic issue that has to be taken up with the U.S. Secretary of State. It's his job to make sure that we're not imposed upon. Marco Rubio is not doing his job right now. It's his duty, his responsibility, his organization that is supposed to be telling them all the way down to the local county sheriffs of the incorporated county entities and the FBI. Okay?
all right. We'll get started on getting some notices out. Thank
Right
you. I
now,
yield.
there's something else that needs to be done,
Okay.
but we're not ready to do it right now. We have to do a little bit more research on it, and as soon as it's ready to roll, everybody will get the notice.
Oh, thank you.
Okay?
Got it. Thank you, Anna.
Awesome, Anna. Thank you. I think that's exciting. I'm looking forward to hearing about that.
Yeah, well, Marco Rubio and the British Privy Council all need their butts kicked from here to Birmingham, but that's just, you know, par for the course.
Are you looking for volunteers?
I can getting kind of tired, my leg just. Yeah.
Okay, and a long line, I'm sure. Okay, next up is Glenn. Glenn, unmute. You're on deck. You're off deck. Now you're in the batter's box.
Good evening, Anna.
Good evening. How are you doing?
Doing good. Glenn on Florida. Finally have a little good news for you. We had our first town hall meeting Tuesday evening. It was very successful. We had a big turnout. We had almost 40 people. And tonight, with your help, we were allowed back in our General Assembly meeting, and we were able to participate. So we are looking forward to working with all and getting the job done.
Good. Well, I'm sure that, once everybody kind of settles down and all the ruffled feathers get smoothed out, the real goal here is everybody work together.
Absolutely. I thank you and I yield.
Okie dokie.
Nice. Okay, Tabitha.
Hi, Grana. Sorry, can you hear
Hi.
me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
I'm trying to figure all this out. Okay. Little bitty question. Yeah, I'm trying to work with everybody, and yeah, I want everybody to come into me. I'm sorry, I'm Tabitha off Florida. I'm the
Sure.
Florida Assembly Marshal at Arms. So trying to work with everybody, and trying to get everything going. That's cool. I just feel like sometimes, my little authority I might have is just out the window because now I'm being called a liar, and then we all make mistakes, or we all some people need to own up to their mistakes, but and some people kind of avoid the consequences. But my question is, I'm getting hounded again, and I know what you said the first time, and I want to hear it again. I'm getting hounded by the Federation of Continental Marshals saying I have to be re-vetted, and I've already been vetted. I'm going on, I think, 3 years of being the Marshal at Arms of Florida Assembly. Do I have to be re-vetted?
Well, you should be, because what they did is they vetted you as a state official, and you're not a state official. You're a Federation employee, basically. So the Federation is supposed to vet its own positions, and at this point, the Marshals at Arms are all Federation personnel. They're not state of state or state personnel. So, yeah, you should have been vetted by the Continental Marshals to begin with. It's not your fault that you weren't. But now that we know that you were vetted by the state vetting committee and not by the Continental Marshals, we should go back over and just do that vetting by the CME, the Continental Marshal group there in the Southeast, and make sure that you are really eligible to be a Marshal at Arms.
True,
Like I
true
said,
that.
we have a different process that's a bit more in-depth
Yes, ma'am.
than the states typically go through with the state officials. And so, especially with the Marshal at Arms is a security position, so we do like to know that the people we're working
Yeah.
with pass that vetting.
Right,
So
I've been
I would
security
ask-
all my life. No problem there, but the problem is I really didn't want to be in this position. I was trying to be the Marshal at Arms of my county, Escambia County, and for some reason, I don't know how it got to state. I guess they're saying now we don't have a county Marshal at Arms. Is that right?
Right. Counties don't
Okay.
really have Marshals at Arms. They
S-
a different
Okay.
jurisdiction, different offices. Their sheriff is providing their security
Through deputies.
through deputies. Yep.
So on the general and then the juror, that's the only marshal. There's two separate marshals on two separate assembly, two separate areas. The general, right? Am I correct on that? And then the juror has a Marshal at Arms.
No, the General
No.
Assembly has a Marshal at Arms, and then the General Assembly may have a security officer of their own, but that's associated with the court system.
Oh, is that I'm thinking of militia. I'm sorry, militia.
Yeah, well, you could have a militia director, right? and they become responsible for the security of the militia.
Okay.
There's only one marshal at arms, and at this point, it's a borrowed position because,
Okay.
When everybody is fully seated and everything is functioning the way it absolutely should,
Become sergeant.
it will become a sergeant at arms.
Yes. Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much, sweetie. Appreciate it, Grandma.
Sure enough.
Renee is up next.
Hi, Anna. You look beautiful today, like everybody said. My question is this. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Can you provide the specific sources supporting the claims about the 57 banks today? Could you please include the name of the organization or publication where the data was published and any link or identifiers if available?
Yeah, I'll try to get that out.
This is so the group can independently verify the information and ensure we are working from the same data set.
Right, absolutely. And, I will say I have not, I didn't have time to check that out myself. I received this information from Scott Besant this afternoon and right before we went on air. So I'm just showing you what I got.
Wonderful news. Thank you. I yield.
Okay, guys. Oh, look at the cute puppy. We have a cute puppy picture in the middle of our
Yes, that's Molly.
discussion. That is absolutely adorable.
She's precious. Thank you.
Yes. All right,
Okay,
guys.
Anna, I don't think we have any other hands up. You're
Yeah, I'm tired enough, so I'm ready to call it for the day and go to the barn.
right on. Well, thank you so much, Anna. And it was a great call this evening. We got lots of good information. So
Yeah, and I'll try to dig that the Treasury information. Be aware that the Treasury is undergoing a big transformation at the same time all this other stuff is happening. So they may have records all torn up and God only knows what. But upward and onward, kids.
excellent. Thank you so much. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you, Dave. Thank you, Anna.
Thanks,
Good night,
Anna.
Thank you,
guys.
Dave.
Is
Thank you, Anna. I'll be with you.
Anna still needing funds?
Thank you. Good night.
Thank you.
God bless you, Anna.
Thanks, Anna. Good night.
God bless everybody.
God
Good
bless.
night.
Everybody.
Thank you, Anna.
We'll
Thank
pray
you,
for
Anna. Have a beautiful night. Love you.
Good night, Anna.